Hi, welcome. I'm Bonnie Lynn Linky. I'm your independent Stamping Up demonstrator, and welcome to my studio. Isn't it a wonderful fall day? I live here in Idaho, and it's raining, and it's really nice. It will help with the fires that are in the mountains all around us, and hopefully they'll be able to get them under control. The smoke has been better the last couple days, so that's nice, not having everything smell like smoke the minute you open your door to go outside. So that's great. And I hope everything is good where you live. And I want to thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Um, I'm releasing this video, I think, on the 18th. That's my plan, first thing in the morning. I may actually do it on the 17th, September. And if I'm off, I'm sorry, but the reason why I'm mentioning it is because free shipping is on February 18th. I'm sorry, it's on September 18th. Well, I don't even know what month I'm in. So remember that from midnight to midnight on September 18th, it's free shipping with a minimum order of $75. So if you need anything, it's a great time. Stock up on cardstock, your tapes, your dimensionals, glue dots, anything like that, envelopes, all your basics. And there's some wonderful things in the Christmas catalog, which I have pointing right there. Um, Today I'm showing you the Shepherd Card stamp set, and I really like it. It's a favorite of mine. But I also, besides Christmas, I look at it and I think Easter. Jesus looking into Jerusalem, holding a lamb, knowing that he's headed for the cross. So I really think this is a really great stamp set, and you can use it for Easter as well as Christmas. So, all right. So let me switch things around here. And there we go. And this is the card we're making. So for this one, I'm using the new stamp set, Shepherd's Care. And I'm using this stamp, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So that's pretty good for me. I'm using 5 of the 9. So, all right. And then for I'm using Very Vanilla cardstock, Night and Navy. Measurements will be on my blog, and there will be a link in the remarks that I make for it, and also to sign up for my emails, which always gets the card emailed to you with the link to my blog too. So I'm using Very Vanilla. The Night and Navy, it is, let's see, 3.5 by 4 3/4, in case you want to know the dimension. The designer series paper I'm using is the Season of Green and Gold, which is this paper here. It one side of the paper has gold in it, like it's been embossed. So there, and this side is like that. And then this is the embossed side with the gold side with the bills and the pine needles and all. And your dies, if you get the Seasons of, oh, I forget the name of the stamp set, but if you get the bundle that goes with this paper, it comes in a suite, and there's 2 different stamp sets. One is all greetings, and the other has to do with this, and it has the dies. And there's a number of things you can cut out with the dies. Like you could cut out this one and this one. This one that you need a fussy cut. This you can cut out. This you can cut out. And I believe you can cut out that too. And there's the back side of that. So it's really, really nice paper. Matter of fact, I'm ordering another pack of it for the free shipping because I really like it and I use a lot of it. And I know that I want some for next year too. It's okay. Yes, even as a demonstrator, I do craft sales and everything. So I like having some of the paper left over. And, someday I won't be a demonstrator and I'll just make cards for the fun of it. And so I can And I send out a lot of Christmas cards. And so I can go back and I keep track of who gets what. So I don't send them the same one 2 years in a row, 3 years, every 2 or 3 years. So I keep track of everything. I know. So type A of me, and I'm not type A. Looked at my studio right now, you'd understand that. So, okay, let's get started, and I'll show you how I made this card. I started with an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of very vanilla cardstock. I scored it at 4 1/4, and then I burnish that fold. So there you go with that. And then I take 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of the designer series paper. And when I wish I could remember the paper that I came up with. Oh, the vellum that is also available right now as an online exclusive that goes with this suite that this paper goes with. It's gold. I think that would also look really pretty underneath this instead of this piece. I think that would look real pretty too. My husband preferred this one, and being these are going to be my personal Christmas cards. I gave in. So, but I'm not all of my Christmas cards are these. I'll only probably make out for the 100 I send out. I'll probably only make about 10 like this, because it's a lot of coloring for if you're doing a lot of them. Okay, so I did that. But before I did anything, and I should have showed you this first, on a panel, and it's, remember, 3.5 by 4 3/4 of navy blue cardstock. Oh no. What happened to it? Oh, here it is. Sorry, that was the wrong one. Here's my panel right here. I stamped the city of Jerusalem. I actually stamped this last night so it would dry. I stamped it in the white craft ink, which is this right here. When you order this, the pad comes with no ink on it. They give you the bottle of it and you fill the pad. And then I just take a credit card to move it around. And I did use my Misty, and what the Misty is, because I'll be using that right now again to stamp something. It is where if you don't like the stamp, it holds the paper in place. It took the Stamparatus was designed after this, so it just helps you with your stamping, and I'll show you what I mean. So I need a piece of white cardstock. I'm going to put in here. I'm going to put my magnet in place. I'm going to take out the Shepherd from this stamp set. Oops, dropped another stamp. Okay, and I'm just going to lay that there. Okay, now the stamp and paper are being held in place, as you can see. Sorry about the glare from my light. Now, even though I'm coloring this with blends, whoops, I got the wrong color. Let me grab another one here. I had got it gray granite, which I probably could have used, but I wanted the smoky slate. Really, any color, gray granite, basic gray, or the smoky slate would work on this. And I just rub it to stamp it. Now, if I want to, if an area didn't show out because this paper's held in place, I can re-ink it and stamp it again, but I don't need to do that right now. So I'm going to wipe this off real quick. And since I was using the red rubber stamps, I should have taken the cushion out of here, but I didn't. So, okay, so now what we're going to do is, I wanted to show you a Misty, and that's why I did that. So let's go in and color it, and then I'll go back to this. Okay, so let me bring in my Stampin Blends. Oh, I better close up my ink pad. Okay, So let me see, where's my card so I can make sure I use the right colors for what. Okay. Let it dry some if you can. Now I'm going to take my light pecan pie and I'm going to do the headband that holds the head covering in place and the rope or belt that's around his waist there. And then I'm going to take my smoky slate and I'm just going to color over everything on the head covering, even the gray that I just stamped. And the reason why I'm doing that is I want it a little bit darker because I want you to be able to see a difference, because there is, if you look up close, there are shadow lines on here. And I want to make those darker as I'm, so that you can tell a difference. That's why I'm doing the whole thing and not just where it's white. I'm having trouble seeing, so I'm hoping I'm getting the right parts. I can't blame it on the sun shining in. Now, if you want to, you can take the dark smoky slate and kind of go over where some of these darker areas are. Go over the line folds, just draw a line up, just like so. There we go. Okay, I like that. Now for his robe, I took, let's start crumb cake. I want the light crumb cake. And I do the same thing over his clothing. Just like so. And I don't believe I did anything at all to the lambs. I just left them as they were. Now, I am going over even the shadowed part because remember, this is crumb cake. It's not gray, so I want the clothing to have a brown tone to it. So just color it all in. And then make sure you get the parts of the robe that shows underneath the lamb. There we go. Okay, and there was one other blend I forgot. Let me grab it real quick. And this is the ivory. Make sure it's the right one. Yes, it is. And his nose sticks out right there. So I just put a little bit of color right there. And you can kind of see the neck right there. Okay. Now down for the ground, I took some pecan pie and I made dots. I'm using the dark pecan pie and I'm just, just dotting it. And the reason why I'm using the dark on the gray is because it's in the shadows. So now I'm going to come in with the light crumb cake. I'm just going to make a few more dots underneath here. Because I just want to tie in some dirt with it. Okay, and then I bring in my light crumb cake. And I'm just doing this on the paper. And is that light crumb cake? No, that's ivory. There's the light crumb cake right here. Okay, and I just, bring I don't make it even, I make it rounded. And you don't have to do this if you don't want to. I just am adding some texture to it. Okay, and then I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green. Let's use the light. I'm just going to make some strokes like grass. And that point isn't real good, so where's my light? Okay, and this is Old Olive. I think I need dark Old Olive. Just kind of do a V shape and then one in the middle if you want to. Try to keep them thin. I'm pressing too hard, which is making them thick and heavy. There we go. But you just want to go like so. And I just want to kind of blend this out a little bit under here. That's ivory. I don't know why I keep picking up the ivory instead of the light crumb cake. I'm just blending it out some. It didn't turn out as good as my first one did, but that's okay. Okay, and then you fussy cut this out, which I already did right here. And there you go. And you can see what I did with grass and some just the crumb cake and the pumpkin pie. Okay. And you don't even have to do that. Okay, so now we need to go back to this panel. This is done, but we need to finish our panel. So we want to stamp the star, and we want to heat emboss it. Now, if you have a star stamp set with a die cut, you can always do that and place it there. And I actually did that, and I kind of liked this look. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the embossing buddy. And then I'm going to take my stamp and ink it up. Yes, I'm actually going to heat emboss for you today. So tap, tap, tap. And then just put this where you want it at. Hold it down for a couple seconds. A lot of times I'll use my Misty or my Stamparatus when I'm heat embossing to so I can stamp it again so that I get a better coverage. I think that's what I did on my original card, but I didn't do that today, so that's okay. And now I have my Wow embossing powder, metallic gold, in a container. But if I didn't, I would just use the heat edition tray to pour it from the jar over top it. And you get some cool tools with it. I love this brush right here. Just pound there to get the loose stuff off. And see, I have some right there. And you can just brush it off. You get this brush with it, and you get these tweezers to hold it. They're great. Okay, so let's get this gold powder out of the way before I turn on my heat embossing gun. Now, as I apply the heat, and after it warms up, it will start melting it. And I'll try to hold it up here so you can see it. Now, don't hold it too close because you don't want to burn your paper. Okay, can you see how that's turning colors? That's the powder melting from using the Versamark ink. She'll get all those tips. Okay, and you don't want to overdo it because you'll flatten your image. So there we go. So the next step that we want to do is I embossed this panel. Get that powder off it. With the Birchwood 3D embossing folder. Now, last time on the other one when I did it, I put this part of the star on one of the embossing lines, so it got embossed up at the top there. So I think I'm going to try and do that again. So let's see which one. Right here, I think, or do I want this one right here? I think I'll do this one right here. All right, so now I'm going to just take it over to my my die and cut machine, that cut and emboss machine, and emboss it real quick. With these 3D embossing folders, the sandwich is plate 1, your embossing folder with your paper in it, and plate number 4. And here we go. All right. Isn't that cool? And there's that tip emboss some. Okay. And now we need our Stampin' Dimensionals. So let me get those. Because we're going to put this on with that. Let me see my scissors here. And I'll just use some of these side ones. You know what else I like to use? I like to use the foam sheets, and I'll cut them into squares. I didn't bring those over today, so we're not going to use those today. And I just put these around. I tend to overindulge in the dimensionals. And we'll go on in. As you'll see, I use a lot of them. And that's because I don't like them to get flattened out when I mill it. So let me go in, grab my little trash can over here. And you can use your, take your pick tool. With my arthritis, this old one is works a little bit better for me. So it's the one I use all the time. I use my take your pick tool too. And that one I'll just rip off like so. Okay. So bring the card front here. Make sure you got it so it's opening the right way. And I'm going to just center this right on here. Making sure I get it straight. There we go. That looks good. I got something all over my finger. I don't know what. Okay, and I'm going to use dimensionals to put Jesus, the Good Shepherd, on here. So what did you think of the catalog this year? Leave your comments. And whether you love the catalog or you don't love the catalog, you should, because I've had people give me comments both ways. And my suggestion is email Stampin' Up and let them know what you like about it and vice versa, what you don't like about it. You know, I was so in love with the Oh Holy Night stamp set last year and the paper and everything that I was really hoping for a repeat this year. I was hoping they'd bring it back because it kept selling out of everything, and or else that they would do something equally as good. So I was a little bit disappointed when that didn't happen. And you know what we didn't do? We didn't heat emboss our saying, so we need to do that. So I apologize about that. Okay. I use the corner dies from the annual catalog for my greeting. I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to just stamp that like that. I better redo that. Let me grab the piece on earth. Put it on my stamp block. We need the Versamark. I had actually thought I did this yesterday, so I apologize. Get that right in the middle. And then I don't want to touch where I inked it, so I'm just going to take my little tweezers, okay, and figure out what I did with my gold embossing powder. There we go. Okay, as you can see, I got some Versamark lines where we didn't want them, so I'm just going to brush those off. Let's see. Okay, there we go. And now we'll heat emboss this one real quick. As you can see, it doesn't take long. Heat embossing is one of my favorite things to do. The first card I ever made was heat emboss, and that just sold me on stamping. And that was a lot of years ago. Not a lot compared to some people, but for me. I think it was probably 11, 12 years ago. So, all right, and there we go. And I'm just going to put, let me see, a piece of adhesive tape on it, tearing tape. Put it down at the bottom. You can also use glue dots or whatever. And I need, let me see, this is the one I was working on. I just want a couple small pieces that I cut because I want them to go up on the top here because this is going to be off. This top part is not going to be on the blue. And remember when I put the blue on, we use dimensionals, so I got to have some support up at the top there. There we go. You see what I mean? It's going to go right here, those dimensionals, and offset it right there. Just like that. And we need a gem for right there. And what I use was the iridescent rhinestone basic jewels. Opens right here. But you and I just put the big one right in the middle to give it a shine. No other embellishments. Okay, and then for the inside, this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Get those out of my way. And I took the praying that you will feel the Good Shepherd's care in this season and throughout the coming year. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to get my Night of Navy ink. That's not Night of Navy. That's the craft white. So I'll set that over there. It's right over here. Okay. see if I can get it straight the first time. Good enough for me. Okay, so I stamped that right there. And you know, let me see. Nah, I'll use whichever one turns out the best. I like that one better. It's a little bit straighter and it was a little bit higher up. Okay, and I also want to stamp Jerusalem in the middle. I mean, right down at the bottom here. So I'm going to get a block to put my stamp on. Now, on my other card, I did it in black, but I think I'm just going to use Night and Navy again, and I'm just going to stamp it right down here. And there we go. Oh, I like it in the Night and Navy better than the black. All right, and that's that. I'm going to set that out of the way so I don't put my sleeve in it and get all dirty. Okay, set that up there. Set these out of the way. And now we want to put this. So I'm going to put this on a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock, Night and Navy cardstock. I could have stamped directly on the inside of my card base if I wanted to, but in case I screw up or something, I didn't want it showing through on the back side or anything. And I usually will use a separate piece of cardstock for my greeting. I just think it gives it a classic look. Okay, so I put that on there, and now I'm going to bring this over here. Now on this card, I used basic white. I just wasn't thinking. For this one, I used Very Vanilla. I like the Very Vanilla better, but the basic white works too. Okay, and a little bit of glue right there. And just center it in here, just like so. Okay, so that is all done. Now we just have the envelope to do. This is, they don't, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these anymore. They retired them, but I have some, so I want to use them for my Christmas cards. Now, I usually have Long Merry Christmas that I'll stamp on the back of my envelope flaps if I don't do anything else. But it wouldn't fit on this because of the V shape. So pulled out an old set, Night in Bethlehem, and Blessed Christmas Wishes. Because on my card, I do not have Merry Christmas anyplace because I got peace on earth for the greeting. And I have a saying that doesn't say Christmas in it anywhere. And all my cards, if they're Christmas cards, have to say Christmas. So I'm going to use the Night and Navy ink. And there's a stamp set. Oh, I don't remember which one it is, but it says Christmas begins with Christ. And a lot of times I'll stamp that on the back of my cards. See, I'll go back later and I'll stamp that right here. And then I'll put Made with Love by Bonnie on it. All right. And there we go. That's our card. So we got our envelope. Now, if you want to, you could also stamp the Jerusalem right up here too. And let's see how that looks. We can do that real quick. But if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. I love thumbs up. And YouTube likes it when we get them too. And I love your comments. I thank you for joining me today. Your time is precious, and I appreciate you spending it with me. So have a blessed week. I hope to be back next week with another card. And may all good things happen for you. And if you place an order and you don't have a demonstrator, if you would use Bonnie Linky as your demonstrator in Napa, Idaho, I would sure appreciate it. Thank you much and God bless. Bye.